Well, you heard it there. Michael Shacker put together the highlight. The Blazers go from 2 nights ago, letting almost a record for the most amount of points they've ever let another team score on them. That was 162 way back in 1982. Then the Denver Nuggets scored 157. Oh no, what's going on? The defense, it ain't it. Well, then the Blazers went into Phoenix, and yes, they didn't have Devin Booker, and yes, they didn't have Dylan Brooks, but we've talked many a time before about getting through those situations when a team doesn't have their full complement of players. You still got to play well, and the Blazers did. Held the Suns to just 77 points. A much different ball game than what happened just a few nights ago inside the Moda Center, and as you heard there in the open, perhaps the bad luck charm is when Chad and I both missed the game at the exact same time. We joked during the pregame show that we can't do that anymore. We are both here, and they won handily. So I guess we just have to stay together now. That's what good waffles do. They stick together. Wouldn't be the fifth quarter without a Simpsons reference. Welcome in to the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. If you'd like to join the conversation with me, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. Of course, you can hit us up on the text line, 88528. And last but not least, you can go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat there. In just a little bit, the man, the myth, the legend, Chad Dewing will join the show as well. We'll get his breakdown from the game, but overall, just a good performance from Portland. This was the bounce back that they needed. There was some bad, obviously, the Denny Avdia situation. He played a whole minute before he grabbed at that back. It tightened up, and he was out, and boom. That's terrible. That's, what do you do? I mean, your best player continues to be injured. You look at that and you're like, oh no. And then a few minutes later, Donovan Clingan gets hurt too. Now he stayed in the game, but you're like, oh no, the wheels are falling off. But they battled and they stayed through it and grabbed a victory. PDX Golf Pro says first in the YouTube chat. Congratulations. Congratulations. If someone needs to be first, and today it was you. The Blazers, though, they were first. First to just grab this game and not let go, and that's exactly what they needed to do tonight. Everybody really pitched in. The offense still looked up and down. When you look at the box score and you're like, oh, there's not a quarter that just blows you off, blows the doors off and just makes you go, whoa, there it was. The offense is here. No, the offense was still a struggle. Defensively, they got it locked in. Toumani Camara with a huge three-point shot where he blocks it, gets the ball, goes down and dunks it. The defense did what it needed to do. The offense made buckets when they needed to. And in the end, the Blazers rebounded. We talked about it all pregame show. You go in, you rinse off, you cleanse the palate, and you start over on the next game. That's the beauty of basketball. It's not like the NFL where you got to wait a week or a team who gets a bye week and it's 2 weeks between games. The Blazers had to wait a whole day, get right back to it, and show you what they were made of. They grabbed the victory tonight. 92-77. Let's break it down. It's time for your Rip City recap. Maybe. I don't have the intro. That's okay. I was waiting for it. Maybe I just didn't hear it. But regardless, we'll take a look at the box score. See how it all went down. Like I said, the offense didn't look great. 20 points in the first quarter, 27 points in the second quarter, 24 in the third, 21 in the fourth. Those aren't numbers that you sit there and go, oh yeah, those are beautiful. Those are beautiful. Look at that. The offense is great. But defensively, like we said, locked in. The Suns, 20 points in the first quarter, 20 points in the second, 17 in the third, and then just 20 in the fourth quarter. Not very often that you see a team in the NBA fail to eclipse 20 points in a single quarter in any of the quarters during the game. So defensively, they did what they needed to do. Now, Colin Gillespie, who had a very good game against Portland last time they matched up, he did lead the Suns in scoring with 18 points, a much different game than last time they matched up. 13 points for Jalen Green, 2 points from Ryan Dunn, 6 points from Mark Williams, 0 points from Royce O'Neal. And really, you got to look at that Mark Williams number, because when they were in Portland just a few weeks ago, that was a massive performance from Mark Williams. He absolutely put it together and went ham, and Donovan Clingan couldn't stop him. Donovan Clingan turned it around today. He flipped the script. He had a heck of a game. He stopped Mark Williams exactly like you needed him to. Offensively, he got it going. That was the type of game you wanted the Blazers to put together. As PDX Golf says, Tumani, the box, Kamara. Tonight, defensively, he was stellar. He was absolutely stellar. Let's look at some of the numbers. Points in the paint, Portland won 52-34. Second chance points, they won 18-10. Fast break points, they won 17-6. Bench points, they were outscored by the Phoenix bench 38-28. And points off turnovers did favor Phoenix by 25-24. But overall, those team stats looking pretty good. Portland, 23 assists on 38 made shots. They had 47 rebounds to the 41 of Phoenix, 10 steals, 21 turnovers, though. That's probably part of the reason the offense just didn't look great. You got to control the ball. 21 is still an absolutely egregious number, and the Blazers continue to lead the league in that category. It's something they definitely need to fix ASAP. But in this one, it didn't come back to bite them, because defensively, they were definitely locked in. 19 turnovers from player turnovers, that is, for Phoenix. Total 23 turnovers for Phoenix. A couple shot clock violations in there to get that number up. But overall, defensively, great. Looking at the score, balance was the point from Portland. Tumani Kamara, 12 points, 23 points from Jeremy Grant, so a big bounce-back game from him. 23 points from Donovan Clingan to go along with 13 rebounds and 4 block shots. Just a heck of a game. And then you had 11 points from Scoot Henderson off the bench. Those 4 guys got it going. Everyone else, they couldn't get it going. 0 points from Denny Avdia. Oh, that's because he only played 59 seconds. For those of you just tuning in, backs seized up again. He left, did not come back in, did warm up during the second half. So they come out of the locker room, he's warming up, but did not go back in the game. You got to make sure you're okay. You don't want to get too hurt moving forward. That one hurts, but you got just 6 points from Drew Holiday, 0 points from Vit Krejci, which Chad and I both thought this was a game that he could explode a little bit. 6 points from Chris Murray, 2 points from Sidi Sissoko, 4 points from Robert Williams. Now you look at the Suns side of things, like I said, we already talked about those numbers. There was nothing. Outside of Gillespie, no one was really getting it going. Amir Coffey had 8 points off the bench, as did Jeremy Bouye. So those were the 2 leading scorers off the bench. Their leading scorer had just 18 points. And defensively, they locked in. They locked in. It was just a heck of a game. Heck of a game. Kling Klong lived up to the name tonight. Great game for him. Absolutely, it was a great game. As my friend Keith out in Hood River says, let's go Blazers. Just a heck of a ball game. That's what they needed. Now, they absolutely need to figure it out in the long run, because the offense has got to balance out with what the defense is doing on a night like tonight. I do got to give them credit for the way the defense was able to come in on this one, especially after how bad it looked against Denver. But Denver is Denver. That is an efficient team. They did not want to lose 2 in a row to start the second half. They dropped a close one to the Clippers, and they come to Portland. Yet did not want to drop this one. Made a statement right from the jump. Portland was just on the receiving end of it. So then Portland need to do similar to what Denver did to them. They need to come out in their next game and make a statement. They could not lose those 2 in a row. And they did make a statement. Now, where Denver made the statement on the offensive side, Portland made the statement on the defensive side. Locked in on this one. Great when it came to blocking shots. That Tumani Kamara block turned into a 3. A blocked 3 turned into a dunk. It was just a great sequence. Donovan Clingan was everywhere. This was just efficient DC. That's what the chatters are saying on YouTube as well. And that's what you needed, especially after last time they played when Mark Williams took him to school. Took him to school. In this one, you stepped up. You stepped up big time. And that's exactly what you want to see. Sean says the Nuggets had 12 fewer points the other night compared to the total points in tonight's game. Offense was not great tonight. No, it was not. It was not, Sean. It absolutely wasn't. But the Blazers held Phoenix to fewer points than the difference between what they let the Nuggets score and they let the Suns score. Let that one sink in for a minute, because the Suns scored just 77 points, a very sacred number here in Portland. Meanwhile, Denver scored 157 points. That is a difference of 80 points. There's also the biggest difference between two games allowed by the Blazers in franchise history, according to Tom Habistro. 80-point difference from game to game. That's wild. The difference is more than the Suns scored in this one. And you look at around the league, when you look at the averages and the fact that every single team is averaging over 100 points, to hold a team, any team, even if it's the G League version of that team, to less than 100 points is a victory for your defense. And that is what the Blazers did tonight. Absolutely smothered the Suns. Tumani Kamara and Colin Gillespie, I mean, all night long, irritating him. Drew a couple offensive fouls. You got to see that off arm push him off, because he's like, just get off of me, dude. Like, you're irritating me. Defense locked in. Now you need to build off that, because moving forward, you still have a couple tough games here. Minnesota on Tuesday. You got to play a Charlotte team that is firmly playing like a play-in team who can beat you. They've been up and down all year, but they're playing good basketball. And then so that gets you through those better games. And then the Chicagos, the Atlantas, the Memphises, the Houstons, those ones you need to really lock it in. And if you play like this, you're going to win a lot more than you lose. The offense will figure itself out. Defensively, they needed to make a statement today, and I absolutely think they did. This is the fifth quarter. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. Of course, you can hit us up on the text line, 88528, or go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat there as well. Just a heck of a game. Sometimes you win them with offense, sometimes you win them with defense. And it's very easy to look at the offensive numbers and go, woof, what was going on there? I don't like that too much. But defensively, the eye test tells me they played one heck of a game. I got to like that. I got to give them credit for that. Got to give them credit for that. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to do a scoreboard report, take a look around the NBA, see what else is happening out there, see if some games impacted your Blazers. Going to give you a stat of the night, a couple other things. We got some new segments here we're rolling out, having some fun. But of course, before we go, got to go tried and true, one you always love. It's time for your drive of the night. There we go. There we go. Had to let that play out before I came back to you guys. In the commercial break now. See what you guys said. Fisher, why haven't we heard? Hold on one sec. What was that? Okay. Producing here. How come do we not have the recap open? Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, I'm going to talk to YouTube then. Thank you. All right. Sorry, YouTube. We were doing a little bouncing back and forth, a little on-air producing for you before I could have hit the commercial button, but why not talk to you? But we do get, was that Fisher? I haven't heard anything about SB 1501. We will eventually. I mean, that's all for those of you wondering. I mean, that's related to the Moda Center and all that stuff. Well, that stuff we'll definitely get out. Don't have a ton to add to that at this moment outside of what we already know. My gut, but I like where they're at. Yeah, I think Portland's going to be in a good spot. That's for sure. Let's see. Love the attitude DC was playing with tonight. The shove made me laugh. I love, PDX Golf Pro. I like feisty DC. Like when he'll do the shrug, get someone off. I'm like, get off me. Like I like feisty DC. But I think there's also the argument too that tonight might have been one of his best games when it just came to showing off a little athleticism offensively at the rim. Some of those dunks are pretty ferocious. You got to give him some credit for that. I like that. I absolutely like that. And yeah, Fisher. No, of course. No, keep it locked in. I promise you, once we have more information on that front, we'll definitely let people know. Of course, everyone will try to. It's the information that everybody wants. Everyone wants to know what's going to go on with that. But just understanding how these things work. Yeah, I am. Oh, I got you. So anyway, yeah, we'll be in a good spot. Anyway, YouTube, I got to do a little producing. I'll be right back. Welcome back into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. If you'd like to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. Of course, you can hit us up on the text line too. 88528 is the text number over there. Speaking of numbers, there's been a lot of them to digest over the last few nights. The Blazers let the Denver Nuggets come into town and score 157 points on them, 5 short of the all-time record of 162 that was also against the Denver Nuggets way back in 1982. Tonight, they held the Suns to just 77. What does it mean? Let's tell you. It's time for your stat of the night. The stat here, and this is according to Tom Habstro, stat guru on the TV broadcast, that 80-point difference is the biggest difference from one game to another in Blazers history. That is impressive. You went from allowing almost 160 points to allowing fewer than 80 in the span of one game. Defensively, they were locked in, but don't just take my word for it. Got to take the man Chad Dewing's word for it, who is waiting patiently in the wings there. He joins us now from Studio C. And, Chad, I told you the defense was locked in, man. What did you see? Because defensively, they got that dub on that end tonight.
Our keys to the game. I just wanted to see them come out with some urgency and play with purpose. And I thought defensively, they were locked in from the get-go. And the great part about the defense, Burkhardt, is that that's what led to the 9-0 run where they took the lead in that second quarter and never gave it back. And they closed the half on a 19-9 run. And then when they built that lead into the third quarter where they got it up to 20, their largest lead of the game, it was mostly a product of their defense. And that was from, mostly Donovan Clingan scrapping and blocking shots. Robert Williams got involved. Tamani Kamara was all over the place. And even though Scoot didn't shoot the ball well tonight, I thought he was aggressive at on the ball pressure and getting into the passing lane. So the defense, was terrific tonight. That's what they needed. And that's the type of response I wanted. I mean, the offense was what it was. And that first quarter was one of the worst quarters I've seen all season long from any team in the NBA. But defensively, they got the job done. And I thought Donovan Clingan, aside from the turnovers, sensational tonight, rebounding, blocking shots, mixing it up, and being an enforcer for Portland when they needed it most.
The funny part is you say that might have been the worst offensive quarter you've seen from any team in the NBA. And you could tell me that you were talking about the Blazers, or you could say you were talking about the Suns, and I would believe you either way, because at one point they combined 3 for 21 to start the game. It was a brutal start for both offenses.
No, it was so bad. I mean, that first quarter, I was like, what's going on out there? They opened up the game. The two teams combined to go 2 of 21 from downtown. The shots weren't falling, and I think that was having an impact on the flow of the game. But, the Blazers, one thing they have done a good job of at times this year is that when they get off to a slow start and not making the threes, we start to see them start to attack the paint. And they got that from Scoot. We saw it from Jeremy Grant. And then once they get those paint touches, it starts to open up things from the outside, and that's when other guys were able to step up. But, again, I give credit to Jeremy Grant. He played a big game tonight. His shot-making was critical. But, again, his aggressiveness, either getting his shots from beyond the arc or attacking the rim, he kind of sets a tone. And they really needed him tonight when Denny went down early in the first and didn't return. And so I credit him, and I thought Donovan Clingan was the player of the game with his play. But, not great. But you know what? Good teams have to find ways to win ugly on some nights, Chris, and the Blazers did that tonight. They manufactured points with their defense, and sometimes you got to do that when the shots aren't falling.
Yeah, and you mentioned him there. That was going to be my next question, but Donovan Clingan. I mean, we talked about it in the pregame show where he kind of got exposed against this team last time they matched up, and I think he kind of made a point to not make that happen again. Offensively, might have been one of his better games where he actually showed a little bit of ferociousness at the rim, had some of the best dunks I've seen from him in quite some time. Defensively, he was locked in. Like you said, I think he was the MVP tonight for me.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Clingan is, and we talked about that too. Remember the game, just back on February 3rd, he got ripped up pretty good by Mark Williams, but tonight, he was terrific. Grant was aggressive, but Clingan was, we saw, he was grabbing rebounds. He was dunking at the rim. That final lob pass from, Holiday at the end of the game where he secured it with one hand and threw it down was awesome. But But on top of that, like when he's not grabbing rebounds, he got called for the travel, rightfully so. And then he's coming up the floor and gives a guy a shove, and he's just out there. He pisses guys off. And I like guys on my team who piss other players off. I think it's good for the team. And they wanted him to be that guy going into the year, to be more, show more personality, be an enforcer, and he's embraced that role and he fits it perfectly. And the great thing about Klingon is, he is willing to do whatever is necessary for the team to win. And there aren't too many guys like that in the NBA, but Klingon's one of those guys. And tonight, a perfect example where he just kind of peppered the stat sheet with some points, another double-double, had the 4 block shots, had a few assists. Like that's a big time game from the guy. And he's only in his second year. He's a stud.
Yeah, it's so crazy because I think it's because he's such a large human and looks older than he is. It's very easy to forget he's in his first year as a starter full-time, and yeah, second year in the league, still getting better. I like feisty Donovan Klingon, just like you do. So yeah, I mean, how can you not get I love when someone does that, like that shrug, like the get off me. Like he ain't there to play the games. The game he's there to play is basketball. None of that other stuff. I love it. Everyone needs an enforcer, man. Every team does.
Yeah, I know you need it. You got to have it. They've got that now. And, just even, the defense, I mean, there were so many guys who were scrappy tonight that got a chance to play. And, Scoot Henderson, God bless him. He struggled on offense. He was aggressive tonight, but defensively, like his body, he's physically strong. You can see the quickness because he's fresh, because he hasn't played all year. Like he was willing to step his game up on that end too. And so I credit the guys. Sissoko came in and threw his body around. So they found a way to get it done coming off a game where they'd given up 157 points. So they got the job done tonight defensively, and now they got to feel better about themselves. It was all about the response, and they knew going in that, it was going to be an opportunity with so many guys down for Phoenix. But, it was weird there at the beginning of the game because Denny went out and then Klingon was hobbling around with the finger because I think Scoot stepped on him, and it looked a little bit weird there. But once they settled down and got things going, they were fine. But that second half surge with the defense was exactly what the doctor ordered, my friend.
Absolutely. It was. And now hopefully continue that, get a couple more wins through the rest of the schedule. All right, Chad, thanks for joining me. I'm gonna let you out of here. Go have some
You're the
relaxing time and do what you need to do, because I don't know, I'm tired. This championship OSAA stuff and coupled with Blazer games, I'm ready for a nap.
I know. It was so nice. It's like the All-Star break didn't last long enough, but here we are at the stretch run, and the Blazers right in the thick of things. They're going to be involved in the postseason. So the rest of the way, by the way, if the Blazers don't cut down the missed free throws and turnovers, I'm going to have an anxiety attack. It's like, just stop it already, guys. Jeez. Turnovers, man. They had a chance to put the game away multiple times in the fourth, but they kept coughing it up. And then freaking Colin Gillespie would knock down a three. It's like, just protect the basketball. Jeez. Killing me.
You're not the only one, my friend. All right. Hey, Chad, I'll let you out here. I'll talk to you on game day on Tuesday, my friend.
All right, man. Have a good night, brother.
You too. There is Chad Doing, Trailblazers pre and post game show host there on the Trailblazers audio network. And of course, host of the Rip City Drive. You guys hear him here Monday through Friday on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. We're adding some new wrinkles to the fifth quarter. Going to get him on more often, get him on game day. I like it. I like hearing from Chad. And, he's not wrong. That's what some of the chatters were saying during that little interview there. And the texters, too many turnovers. The turnovers are bad right now. You got to fix it. You got lucky tonight in the fact that your defense kept you in the game and, quite honestly, probably won you the game tonight. In most situations, when you're giving up 21 turnovers, you're going to struggle. 25 points off turnovers for Phoenix in a night where their offense was not good. One thing they could do was get the ball in transition and get easy buckets. You were letting them do it way too much. So you got to find a way to turn those, or stop turning the ball over. And to the Scoot Henderson point, yes, he did struggle offensively. 4 of 18 from the floor, 1 of 6 from beyond the arc, but he still went out there and had 6 assists. Only 6 points from Drew Holiday, but he still had 7 assists. They still found ways for their point guards to impact the game. And I do like that. I think the offense stuff, that'll be fine. PDX Golf does chime in too. Says, loved Steve Smith on the call too. Another win with a Blazers legend at the game. It is pretty cool that they're integrating some of those guys into the broadcast now. Lamar just taking a little day off, and they let Smith get in there. And it's crazy to think he was only here for such a small amount of time, but I loved him here in Portland. I really, really did. And that shot of his, I would have loved to see Steve Smith in prime Steve Smith in the modern NBA, because I felt like that guy just had a stroke. He'd be good in the just let it fly NBA nowadays, man. That would be great. And Darren says a couple guys had a bunch of turnovers. No, that's the nature of the beast. It's what happened. Drew had 6. Scoot had 4. DC had 5. It's a lot. They were trying to find ways to impact the game the best they could. The offense wasn't going for those 2 guards. They also led the team in assists. However, assist to turnover ratio that's around 1. It's not very good. 1 assist for every turnover. How are we feeling about that? I think those things will fix themselves from guys like Scoot, especially. I don't see that being a long-term thing. I love the way he controls the ball. Drew, I like the way he controls the ball. Notice I didn't say love. I like the way. Sometimes he slows it down too much and gets a little lazy in doing so. DC, 5 turnovers seems like a lot for your center to have. I'd like to fix that one. But in general, I'm not even putting this on the one guy or the few guys who had a bunch. It's as a team when you have 21. And the thing is just the fact that it's a recurring thing over and over and over again. That's why they lead the league in turnovers per game. That needs to be fixed. You go back to when they went on their stretch of games in January where they were the hottest team in the league. 90% of the games, I think the only one might have been New York that they didn't, and they lost the game, but they still played well. But they had fewer than their average turnovers. They were doing so well controlling the ball that during that stretch of 10 games, I think their average turnover number dropped by almost a whole turnover. But now it's back to the 18, 19, 20 turnover games, and that just cannot happen. All right, was there some games around the league that impacted your Blazers tonight? There may have been. Let's take a look at the scoreboard report.
Here's Chris Burkhardt with your NBA scoreboard report, presented by Coors Light. Choose chill, Portland.
All right, let's take a look at the scoreboard report, see what's going on around the association. A couple of games to watch for if you are a Trailblazers fan, one of which is still in action right now. 6.5 minutes left in Los Angeles. The Magic and the Clippers are tied at 101. Keep in mind that the Clippers are tied with the Blazers in the standings right now, both 16 games back. If the Clippers drop this game, that puts the Blazers half game ahead. So that's where you want to be. Right now they're tied. Keep that space. Portland in 9th in the play-in race right now, trying to play catch up to Golden State, who's in 8th with a 2.5 game lead, and a 5 game lead is what the Suns have. That's how important that game was tonight, because without Dylan Brooks and the other injuries they're having, could they continue to slip? We shall see. That's the only game going on right now. Everything else is final. The Cavaliers fall to the Thunder 121-113. The Hawks beat the Nets 115-104. The Raptors 122. The Bucks 94. The Nuggets fall to the Warriors. That was one to watch, 128-117. And as someone mentioned in the pregame show, it's just funny how the NBA works sometimes. The Warriors, you have 3 wins over them this year. You have their number. The Nuggets came into your house, dropped 157 on your head, and then they went and lost to the Warriors. The NBA is a crazy animal sometimes. The Mavericks beat the Pacers 134-130. Charlotte over the Wizards 129-112. Boston over the Lakers 111-89. Philadelphia 135. Minnesota 108. New York 105, Chicago 99, and final down in Phoenix, your Trailblazers 92, the Suns 77. Oof. So there you go. A couple games there that did impact your Blazers, and definitely getting to the time of year where we are scoreboard watching, because there are games that will definitely have something to say about where the Blazers sit in the final standings. Blazers need to continue to get as many wins as they can. You look at their next game is against Minnesota. That's going to be a very, very tough game for the Blazers, especially if Denny Avdia can't go. He only played 59 seconds today, a team that absolutely demolished them last time you were in Minnesota. On that night, though, Boston also plays Phoenix. You would think Boston might be able to get that game. But also on that night, Golden State plays New Orleans. You would think Golden State could get that game. So it's really getting to the time where Phoenix, Golden State, and the Clippers are the three teams, if you're a Blazer fan, you're going to want to watch, and you're going to want to watch consistently, because it's definitely going to have some impact on how things fall out the rest of the season. This is the fifth quarter. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you'd like to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can hit us up on the text line, 88528, or of course, go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio to join the chat there. We're going to take a break on the radio side of things, but before we do, it is time for your shot of the night, and this one is a little special. Take a listen.
Studios, Coors Light, Mountain Cold Refreshment, Choose Chill. Time for the fifth quarter shot of the night on your home of the Portland Trailblazers, 620 Rip City Radio.
We're going to get the dancers lined up here. Here we go. One shot is all it takes. Idol, give me a drum roll, please. Suns fans, let's get behind Fred. Shoot, win, ready. Use those legs. Use those legs. United, ladies and gentlemen, $10,000. Congratulations, Fred, our first winner of the 10K half-court shot.
Jumping into the YouTube chat here during the commercial break. Jason, hey Chris, just got here. Did you do a fifth quarter after the Denver game? Couldn't find it. I did not, because I wasn't there. I was out for a OSAA championship event, so Brendan was filling in, and they must not have gone live. So I did not do one though. I usually set up everything myself. So when I'm out and Brendan's in, I guess I got to teach him how to do that all. So even if I did do one, that might have been one that you just, I'm just going to set that to private after that loss. The world doesn't need to know what happened against the Denver Nuggets. How long is it going to take Veet to get comfortable in the Blazers uniform? I think he'll be fine. It's only been a handful of games, quite honestly. So you got to figure out your spot, which I definitely is figuring out where he is in the rotation. And then you just got to get comfortable with everyone else. Like, I don't think Veet's shooting is frustrating. I think it's more about, you need to get used to when you are a guy like Veet, who is a great shooter. It's more about getting used to how the guys that you're playing with pass the ball. He needs to get you, like, if you pay attention, one thing that I was noticing this game, PDX Golf Pro, is how many times was he wide open beyond the arc, and whether it was Scoot or Drew or Jeremy, how many times was the pass low, and then he kind of bobbled it. He likes a pass. You got, for a guy like that who's just a pure shooter, you got to get the ball right in his pocket. Look at Jeremy Grant, for example. Jeremy Grant might be one of the, I do not say this jokingly, might be one of the best shooters I've ever seen when it comes to not needing to get the ball in his pocket. He'll catch a pass right here above his head and not reset into his natural shooting pocket and just shoot it from there, and he makes it. It's like a second shooting pocket, if you will. Veet, being such a good shooter, he's got to get in the rhythm, and the best way to get into that rhythm is to get that ball right there at his chest, in that pocket, and right in his shooting hand. There's this video I love to watch about Jason Williams talking about passing, how, as a point guard, my job is to put the ball exactly in the shooter's hand the way he wants it. Talking about how he tries to get it. When he was pass the ball, he tried to get it so it was lined up with the lines of the basketball in the hand, just exactly how the shooter wanted it. So that is where I think Veet is right now, getting the ball in the right spot. And some of the passes coming out to him are not good passes, as where Jeremy Grant is a little better than most at getting a shot off when it was a terrible pass. I still think Veet will be the better shooter when he fits in. It's just a matter of understanding how the guys who pass you the ball. Once they figure that out and they figure out what Veet likes, they'll be good. Welcome back into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. I was just like talking into the mic, and then Shacker just plays music. He's smart enough to, he turned my mic off, of course, but it was like, well, he'll either learn that we're back live or I'll just turn his mic on, either or. But we're back. We're having some fun. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can also go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat there, where I was commenting on something a second ago, and talk to the audience here, because PDX Golf Pro in the YouTube chat had a really, really good question. It was about Veet Krejci, and it was, how long is it going to take Veet to get comfortable in a Blazers uniform? Because his shooting just hasn't been there yet. And we've had nights where it looks good, and tonight it was 0 for 5, 0 for 4 from beyond the arc. One thing I have noticed, and I definitely noticed it tonight, is with a guy like Krejci, who is such a good shooter, it's more about understanding how people pass the ball to you. And a lot of the times the passes out to him were low, and he has to go down and get them. Then he bobbles it and then instantly passes it out. For a guy like him, you got to get the ball in his shooting pocket. And White Chocolate, Jason Williams of Sacramento Kings fame. One thing I loved about him was there's this video on YouTube. Just type it in, like Jason Williams passing tips, talking about how as a point guard, his job was to put the ball exactly where a shooter liked it. And he was using, like, JJ Redick. Like he said, if you pass the ball to him, you got to get the ball with the lines of the basketball lined up right perfectly. Like if the ball's, spun 90 degrees, then it's going to throw your shot off. You need to get that lined up perfectly. And as a point guard, my job is to get that ball lined up for my shooter. I think Veet's struggles right now are just getting used to how Drew passes the ball, how Scoot passes the ball, how to fit in the offense and get in that pocket. Like you need the ball right at his chest every single time. Guarantee you, if you start paying attention to Veet, when it's a clean pass, he's going to make that shot. And he's done pretty good at creating his own shots too. But that's just one thing I've noticed. But tell me what you think. I think he's going to be fine. The motion is there. The confidence is there. The shot will fall. It's good. He's a career 40% shooter for a reason. It didn't just disappear because he came to Portland. I think he'll be absolutely fine. But I've been talking a lot. Let's hear from someone else. It's time to go to the Coach's Corner.
Few games and then he has it flare up again. Is there any thought to, just giving him a little bit of time to?
Well, I'm not a doctor, but I gotta, probably see what's going on and dive deep there and to see what's really happening.
All good.
Thank you.
I love it because they were struggling to get the audio from him, and that's all we got was that one question. But he's not a doctor, so he can't give an update on Deni Avdija. And then for those of you just tuned in, Deni Avdija played a minute, and then the back seized up. And we did get a question. I believe it was in the chat. I can't remember if it was the chat or a text, but it was like, why are the Blazers not as cautious with Deni as they are with other players? Other players have been sitting out for so long and really making sure they're healthy. How come you aren't doing it with Deni? I think because with Deni, it's not an injury that is like detrimental, if you will. Like it's not an injury where I can go out there and do more damage to my injured hamstring, or go out there and have a compensation injury where I'm taking over. It's just like at this point, his low back muscles are just seizing up. And as someone who has dealt with that, because, unlike Deni, I don't deal with a bad back because I'm a pro athlete. I dealt with a bad back because I'm old. It takes a minute to get through. And sometimes like the back will just seize up on you. Like I've dealt with like different muscle issues here and there. The low back one though, that will knock you out. When that thing tightens up, you can't even stand up straight half the time. So I think there's the caution there. Cause like, as for me, as I was just going through getting healed back up, it was more like, okay, getting through the pain tolerance, and it sucked. There's no way I was going to play a basketball game. That's for sure. But then when you finally felt good, it was like, let's go. And then maybe it's just something dumb could have tweaked it. I think that's just why, because it's not as if I was going to do damage to my back or like tear the muscle or anything. It was just a weird little quirk that was going on, and you got to get through it. But the thing is, it's like when it's that muscle, it's like the light switch will flip and it'll just be good to go, and you're good. Gonna ice it, rest it, and it's just gonna be ready to go. I think that's why you're being cautious, but it's not as if it's one of those massive injuries where something is broken. Just the muscle tighten up. At least that's how it sounds and looks as you watch it. And if you ever dealt with the low back muscles getting it sucks a lot. Got to get in there, and once it's good, you tackle the off season. Like 45-degree back extensions and deadlifts and different things that will start to work those core muscles around it to really strengthen your back. Might be a key for Denny Avdia moving forward. He's also, has shouldered a lot of the load this year. He's been playing with just more responsibility than ever, more minutes and all that. And the body's just telling, hey, let's slow down a little bit, Turbo. Just watch Fast and the Furious. You don't just sit on the nitro button the whole time. You don't just hit NOS and it eventually runs out. You gotta use it smartly. You gotta hit that turbo button smart. Don't just be going turbo all the time. I think he's gonna be just fine though. All right, who impressed me the most tonight, my friends? It's time for a game ball.
Who is the MVP tonight for the Trailblazers? It's time for Game Balls on Fifth Quarter, live from the Coors Light Studios. Coors Light, choose chill.
All right, time to hand out a game ball, and I kind of hinted at it with Chad on here, but Donovan was my MVP tonight. Offensively locked in, defensively didn't get beat like he did against Phoenix just a few weeks ago. Really, it was a good bounce back from Jeremy Grant too, but I really believe DC was the reason they were able to win this game tonight. Defense was locked in all the way around. Yes, he did have the 5 turnovers, but I do think he was a massive reason the team was able to lock in. Now, a couple of our chatters say, hey, Murray looked good on defense. Murray did not look bad at all. It's good to have him back. I've always loved the fact that I don't think Chris Murray is terrible. Like, he doesn't, there's nothing that he does that just bounces off like that's what he does. He is a great 3-point shooter, or he's just a solid defender, or shot blocking is his forte. It's just, he is NBA good at a bunch of different things, which just makes him playable. I like that about him. Matisse did look winded, but that's a lot of basketball he missed. A lot of basketball. And I think he'll be fine, because one thing I love about Matisse is when he's on the court, his defense stands out. He's still so impressive on that end, which is why I think the team really wanted to get him healthy and a go, because there may be some belief within that front office that they can keep him long-term. Get him to re-sign another contract, much cheaper than the $11 million he's getting right now, because of the fact he's been out so much. So that's where I sit there. One of our commenters on YouTube, Blazers fans and media love to praise Scoot Henderson when he has one good game, yet will make excuses for after he played the night. What's the excuse? There's no excuse. He shot the ball terribly. But I have long been on the Scoot Henderson drum here, beating it. That's like, scoring is not his forte. His forte is playmaking and getting others involved. You got to get out there and run the offense. And those are the things. Yes, he turned the ball over. I get that. But those are the things that I like about his game. I'm not giving him a free pass for having a bad night offensively. But a lot of players on this team were terrible on that end. But I'm not going to. So Scoot has, a bad game offensively. Yep, he's mailing in. Game's over. He's the worst. I just can't do that, because I don't think that's the case. We're also talking about a guy who missed the first 3.5 months of the season and then goes right into All-Star break. More time missed for everybody. So that's where I'm at. Like, I'm not going to give him praise him for his game, but I'm not going to completely discount the things that he did good. It's just like any other player. Like if Donovan Clingan has a terrible game offensively, but locks it in defensively, I'm going to talk about those things and praise those things. That's all that is. It's not fun to just bounce and just knock people down all the time. It's just not my jam personally. Now, if you want to, that's absolutely fine. And if other people want to praise him no matter what, that's fine too. To each their own. I'll call the spade a spade. I'll call you out where it deserves to be called out, praise you when it deserves to be praised. That's 100% just me. I hope that comes across. Like, I'm not gonna fake it for you guys. Now, same texter says Murray can't make a layup. He's a bum. Well, he's missed. He's smoked some layups. I'll give you that. So is my man DC, but I still like the fact that he doesn't make a ton of mistakes. All right, let's head out to the phone lines. And for Michael Shacker listening back at home, who sent me the text, I have call screeners, so I'll bring them up. Thank you, and reminding me to look at it. Let's head out to Greg, who has a comment on Deni Avdija. Greg, welcome in to the fifth quarter. What do you got for me?
Hi, I was just thinking that looks to me like the Blazers are kind of locked into the play-in at this point. So I was thinking they probably should sit Deni for a couple weeks, maybe, and make sure his back is good. I think they kind of leave it up to him to say whether he wants to go or not, and he's going to want to go like every night.
No,
and I
no,
think they should make him sit.
Yeah, no, Greg, I wasn't trying to cut you off. I'm sorry, but no, you're so true or so right. Because like Deni is one of those players. Like if he can breathe, he wants to play. You know what I mean? So the team definitely needs to. Hey, if they think they need to sit him. I mean, Damian Lillard, you saw that for a while too, where it's like, oh, I can go. No, you should probably sit. No, I can go. Okay, we'll trust you. Sometimes the team has to set in, Greg. So you're not wrong there.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Thank you. And here's the thing with Deni. You want him to get healthy, that's for sure. He's been one of your best players all year long. He was an all-star, for goodness sake. Granted, he gets, so many shots at the free throw line. And when you take that away from him, then yeah, he's not the exact same player. And if you're not healthy and the back is hurting, you're not driving with the same ferocity. It just alters everything. So yeah, if you need to sit him, do it. And with the schedule coming up, Greg, you can afford that. You got through a game against Phoenix tonight without him. Granted, they had injuries too. But as I've told you guys before, the schedule coming up for your Blazers, you have Minnesota on Tuesday, going to be a rough one. Then you hit the game road for 5 games. 5 games. You have the Chicago Bulls, who are currently outside of the play-in in the Eastern Conference. You have Charlotte, who is currently the 10th seed in the Eastern Conference. You have Atlanta, who is currently the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference. They're beatable. So is Charlotte. But again, so is Portland. Those are those 50-50 games you would hope you can get. And then you have Memphis, who is not good at all. 3-7 in their last 10. They're outside looking in. And then you got Houston. That's a rough one. Top 4 in the Western Conference. But you have a lot of games coming up where if you need to sit Deni, you can afford to. So I understand that what you're saying. I definitely would say, yeah, I don't know if you need to sit him most of the stretch. I do think that the play-in feels like it's pretty locked in as long as you take care of business. But at the same time, you kind of need Deni at some point to take care of business. All right, let's head out to friend of the show, Tall Tim, who's been waiting patiently. Tall Tim, welcome into the fifth quarter.
All right, we're in the stretch here, so not only do the players have to step up, but it's for us fans to try to step up too. So I figured I better start calling you.
Darn right.
All right, the game. Let's talk about the game tonight. It was close there for a bit, kind of going back and forth. Nobody could do anything, but then Blazers didn't get stuck in the muck like sometimes you do when there's not guys that you're, trying to pair to play against, they're better players, and then you just make it a dogfight down the stretch. But they didn't, and they pulled ahead, and they kept going, and obviously their defense tonight was, really good. Just got their hands on balls and didn't let them get too many offensive rebounds or, anything. So I think that's was a good sign where you could realize that, okay, we're not going to outshoot every team every time. In fact, they try to do that, I think, sometimes too many times. Let's just keep shooting those threes. They're going to go in sometime. So that's good. And then having Scoot back, it's just, yeah, it's like you said, the All-Star break and then all the other stuff that's been going on. You kind of like almost forget that he's like out there doing his thing and trying to find his groove, and he hasn't fully integrated everything. But he looks good. You know, you're like, look at this guy and like, dude, this guy's, you know, just look at him and his abilities and whatnot. And his shot actually looks pretty good so far. And so it's good to see Scoot back for sure. I thought, Tamani, just almost every game he's there just busting as you know what. And I think that for what I'm really starting to get impressed with is just how much Klingon has advanced with his ability to just play effectively on both sides. His passing has gotten better. At some point, 3-point shot, I was going to say, dude, just take it easy there. But now, you know, put it up. And then it's just ability to just keep the ball alive. And he's catching passes better. I mean, the guy is just night and day different than he was last year. And I kind of agree that we are kind of stuck in no man's land. We might be able to sneak past some of these people because of the injuries that are going on. But it still looks like a little bit of a shot. So I think we should concentrate on getting guys all healthy and ready to go rather than kind of put all our chips in right now. And, you know, as much as you say a back, not something you have to specifically rest, every time that back pops out, it's just going to be a lot easier for it to pop out again. So I do think they have to take this a little more serious with Denny.
Hey, you're not wrong. I mean, that's like I said, it's just more, it's just more a rest thing sometimes with that back. It's just about when the flip will switch will flip and you'll be fine. It's just not one of those things that, again, it's more of a pain management and just getting the body back right rather than one of those. It's not a hamstring tear. It's not a shoulder dislocation. It's not one of those types of injuries, which just makes it just so much different than what people are used to.
Yeah, I mean, you know, look at Larry Bird. I mean, he had a great career, obviously, but he got back pain late, and it really, you know, he just couldn't barely go anymore. So you do have to take it serious. You have to find some way to get that back, and if it means, you know, getting on the sidelines for a while, that maybe that's what it takes. I'm not an expert on that, but I'd hate to see Denny just keep limping along. You know, before they really realizes this is something that you can't play around with.
No, absolutely, Tim. You got to take care of it. And thanks for the call as always. Like you said, it's time for you to start stepping up. You need to call more. You're in the stretch run. I need you to. I can't. You're not battling for fifth quarter lottery odds. Okay, I need you to be a play-in team. I need you to keep calling. Let me know what's up. Rest Denny. We'll see what happens on Tuesday against Minnesota. Sometimes, and it was to our, Greg's point too, sometimes you can be your own worst enemy. These players want to play. If you ask every single one of them, they want to play. Heck, if you ask Dame, gave him truth serum, he'd probably tell you he wants to play. You just understand that is just not always the best thing to do. And that's where the staff can come in. So we'll see what happens on Tuesday and the stretch run. Like, that's why I just mentioned the upcoming games. If you want to rest him, take advantage of the fact that like that 5-game road trip, that's a pretty nice road trip. If you're the Blazers, you can win those games or come back 3-2 on a 5-game trip without Denny if you need to. Take advantage of it. Take advantage. Speaking of taking advantage, this is what the Blazers did tonight. They took advantage of a hurting Phoenix Suns team, grabbed a 92-77 victory. Not very often both teams fail to score 100 points in today's NBA. That just doesn't happen anymore. Doesn't happen at all. But it did happen tonight. Good thing the Blazers were on the winning end. All right, that's going to do it for the fifth quarter tonight. we'll be back in action in just a few days because the Blazers take on the Minnesota Timberwolves as they return home to Moda Center on Tuesday. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock, which means I will have Blazers game day for you at 5. That is their last home game before that 5-game trip that we just talked about. Chicago, Charlotte, Atlanta, Memphis, and Houston. Then they return home for 3 games, Indiana, Charlotte, and Utah. Then they go back on the road for 5, Philly, Brooklyn, Indy, Minnesota, and Denver. And then back home for 4. Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Dallas, and Washington. So this stretch through March 29th, there's games there where you can rest Denny and still come out on the positive side. That'll be good for you. No more of this 1 game home, 1 game away, 1 game home, 1 game away nonsense. Sean wants him to go on 5. That's because he doesn't want to owe me lunch. But he's going to because they're finishing above 500 the rest of the way. Once again, final score down in Phoenix. Your Portland Trailblazers 92, the Phoenix Suns 77. And the Blazers will be back in action on Tuesday. Coverage starts with Blazers Game Day, hosted by me at 5 o'clock. Until then, Rip City, have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.